For all of you who listen to Mac East Second Floor Studios presents Submersion and own an Android device, do me a favor. Go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcasts I want to listen to, select them as favorites, and have them all just a click away. Make sure to set Mac East Second Floor Studios as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices.
Episode 47.
Woo! Wrong!
Hey, is that right?
No, episode 48.
Damn it.
You blew it.
You blew it.
Dude, Mustard Man came in for the steal last time, and now here you come in, Brom, just screwing things up.
Totally wrong.
And this is
like an an extra special episode, too. You don't want to screw up this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was one we watched in theaters. It's a very hard one for us to watch.
Yes, all three of us definitely watched this in theaters.
Yeah. That's why there's only three of us, right?
Right.
Kind of.
Because we're the only ones who could afford it.
Sure. See, no one wants to spend their hard-earned money going to submarine films in theaters. I think that's the moral, really.
Which is a travesty.
Yeah, it's incredible. And same thing happened with Hunter Killer.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is a little more understandable for this one.
Whoa!
That's true. No judgments up front.
Yeah.
But I could see why people would look at that one and be like, the one we watched today, and be like, eh. But then Hunter Killer, like, everyone should be clamoring.
Be like, dude, that is cash money. Get us in the seats. Get us there. Give me some popcorn.
We really should have recorded in the theater.
We probably could have gone.
We probably could have found
people were
I was
there.
gonna say, if we found we could have really slipped in a sweet like 10 a.m. showing.
Oh, no one would have been there.
No,
there,
just
there were
recorded
so many things
podcast.
that I was like, as I was watching and I was texting you guys, just like my hot take, and there's like so many that I didn't send that I wanted to. I'm like, dude, we could have did like a riff tracks of this, like Mystery Science Theater.
You talking about the one for today?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, big time.
Oh, and probably Hunter Killer as well. I don't think we need to really had to differentiate which one we could have done some riff tracks on. Yeah.
But this is the third movie in our 2018 in review, and
No, it's
probably
fourth, isn't it? Or are we not counting Hunter Killer as one?
Oh no, 'cause the actual cycle.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
Hunter
is
Killer
the
was a
fourth
special
one
event,
we've
yeah.
watched from 2018.
Okay.
But 2018 in review, this is our third one. This is by far and away the biggest movie we've watched.
Right, but I did remember another, because we've been trying to figure out which ones to watch, and I did remember another one from 2018 that we'll have to keep an eye on if we're going to include Jurassic World 2, which I remembered had a submarine in it, and we had kind of forgotten. But anyways, this is definitely the biggest of all the films. Probably is this the biggest film we've ever watched?
Yeah, it has to be.
Right? I mean, it's made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like wildly successful. Like by far I think easily the most successful DC, maybe Wonder Woman, but I think this is the most successful.
Yeah, cumulative world gross $1.6 billion.
1.6.
Oh,
Yeah, get out of here. I mean, this is
wow.
Oh, pardon me.
1.06,
pardon me.
Oh, okay, 1.06.
right. Big difference.
Big difference.
Still.
Because I think Crimson Tide maybe made 1.05, right?
$1 billion?
Yeah, $1 billion.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes.
That's how much
definitely.
I bought it for. So,
All right.
wait, okay.
I'm looking up Crimson Tide now. Cumulative worldwide gross
Dive!
$0.6 billion.
Darn it. I didn't want you to tell us. I wanted it to just live in our imagination, in our minds, because we know sub movies are the best.
Wait, did you say $0.6 billion?
No, 0.06.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Oh, okay.
I was like, wait, that made $600 million?
Why isn't there Crimson Tide too?
Wait, how did this beat out Titanic?
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Mac East Second Floor Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, Alex the Mustard Man, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Brain, Kyle El Capitan, and Zach the Backbone present Submersion.
Yeah, so do you want to say it?
I can say it, man.
Let's all say it at the same time.
Oh, okay.
All right. Wonder Gang.
Wonder Gang.
2.
Forces unite. 1, 2, 3. Aquaman.
Got me the joke. It was Swim Fan.
Swim Fan.
You never heard of Swim Fan?
No.
Swim Fan starring Jesse Bradford?
Yeah.
It's like a thriller where like someone's like a high school swimmer, and then there's this girl who's like obsessed with swimmers.
Really?
And like it's like a thriller.
Yeah,
it's pretty thrilling.
Who's the hottie in
We should
that
watch
again?
that instead. Erica Christensen, I think.
Yeah. Has she done anything really since?
Oh, no, wait. Sorry. Jesse Bradford. Yeah. Nailed it. It just took me one time.
Of course.
Wow. Anyways, we watched Aquaman.
Aquaman, yes, in theaters.
Which came out just before Christmas 2018.
Yes.
We saw it in theaters. As it's still going strong, even a month later.
Yeah.
And it's killing it. You said you went on a Saturday and it was jam-packed. Jam-packed. Filled with people. I went yesterday on my day off, and there was a surprising amount of people for the time I went.
Yeah. I'm just surprised that, I mean, with how many superhero movies they've just been churning out, you're starting to hear people groaning, you know, like, oh, I'm tired of superhero movies. And especially Aquaman seems like one of the more, not necessarily vague, but it's not Spider-Man or Superman or Batman or anything like that. It's Aquaman, and $1 billion, that's crazy.
Yeah, it does seem a little like there's not really a rhyme or reason anymore. Some people used to say like, oh, when Marvel has like one that really does poorly in reviews, it won't do well. But then like Venom came out and it got horrible reviews and it crushed at the box office. Then you have something like Aquaman where you look at it and like, it almost made me like sad. I'm like, that's not going to do well. And then it crushes as well. Like everything seems to just crush.
Oh yeah. Anytime you put a superhero on screen.
It seems a little strange. Like when will it turn? Because I watch some of the Marvel films and stuff like that, and I'm definitely getting tired of them. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the. I haven't watched any of the Marvel comic universe since the original Avengers.
Yeah.
The last superhero movie I saw was in 2012. I saw The Dark Knight Rises.
That's a great film.
Yeah, no, I mean, Dark Knight series is amazing, but then
now you can't say that.
I didn't see.
Now it's the last superhero film you saw was Aquaman.
It's true. Yeah, now it's the last.
You ruined that because it used to be great. You used to be able to say the last one I saw was Dark Knight Rises,
and it was a great trilogy, all that. Now I've seen Aquaman. Where do I go from here?
I don't
what
know.
happens now?
And it's weird, too, because I've seen almost none of the DC universe. So this is kind of my first foray into it.
There is a Marvel character. He was actually pretty prominent, and he's kind of fallen out of favor, but he's right up our alley. Have you guys heard of Submariner?
Oh, yeah. I've heard that name.
Yeah, he's like with Namor. He's like one of the Avengers. So maybe we'll have a Marvel submarine movie in the next few years.
We'll obviously be there for that. I mean, that's what goes without saying.
If that happens,
he's our spirit animal.
That would be amazing. That'd almost be the ending. That's when we all kill ourselves in the theater, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Suicide Pact.
Suicide Pact.
Yeah.
Come out with a movie named Submariner about a Submariner superhero. I think it's gotta happen.
I think we'd also should try to get cast into it, where like the Submariner is trying to do like some of that PR stuff, kind of like what they did in Captain America films, and then he's on like our podcast.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
and he's like really trying to explain his superpowers. And we're just like, yeah, right,
yeah, dicks, and they're like, oh,
great. Why am I on this again?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about it? I mean, this is what number of DC film was this one? Do you know? Was this like the sixth DC Universe one?
Yeah, it's in that ballpark. 5 or 6.
Since what the heck's his name?
Zack Snyder.
Batman versus Superman. You had Superman.
Batfleck.
You had a Superman standalone, didn't you? Man of Steel. Yeah, you had Wonder Woman. And then you had Justice League. So this would be like 5 probably.
Yeah, and you had Suicide Squad.
Does that count? Is that in the same universe?
It is.
Okay.
But I think the thing that really stood out for me for this one was the director, which is James Wan, who did Furious 7. He did Insidious 1 and 2. He did The Conjuring 1 and 2. He's kind of like the driving force behind the Conjuring universe. And then he started the Saw series and has been producer of that.
Seriously, that's And he did this movie.
And Furious 7. Yeah, like he has like a whole bunch of them.
Dang.
That are really, really, really prominent. So that's the only thing that really, when it was all gearing up to happen, when it was like James Wan, I was like, it's probably going to be okay. Like it probably won't be something like, I heard Venom was like super weird. I was like, this will probably be up people's alley at least because
this wasn't super weird.
Well, not as I don't know. It like was still like Furious 7 delivered on what it promised. I felt like at least it would deliver on what it promised.
All right,
which is an Aquaman film and not something super crazy and weird.
All right.
Yeah.
So this film stars Jason Momoa as Arthur or Aquaman.
Right.
Amber Heard as Mira. Willem Dafoe sporting a man bun the entire time.
It's like my dream just to see Willem Dafoe in a man bun. Finally culminated in this film.
The dream is coming up on some of the other names you're going to mention.
And
Patrick Wilson in a man bun.
Ugh.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson wearing a man bun.
Dolph Lundgren with red hair.
That's the one.
Dolph with flowing red hair.
Fucking Lundgren. Second 2018 submarine film we've had with Dolph Lundgren.
That's pretty good, man.
And what is that? The third or the third film we've watched overall with Dolph Lundgren in it?
Yes.
Agent Red.
Dude, Dolph getting after it.
Crushing it.
Nicole Kidman as Atlanta.
I was super surprised. I had no idea she was in this movie until she like showed up right away. I was like, "Is that Nicole Kidman?" I was like,
that's what I thought when he was picking her up.
She's looking pretty good.
Yeah,
true. She's like, what is he? He's like 60?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Manta, and Temuera Morrison as Tom Curry, which we will probably only refer to as Tim Curry,
of course. But I also want to mention about Mantis that we'll talk about him. We'll mention Manta.
Goodness,
sorry, Manta Ray. Obviously, that I felt like he was underutilized.
Yeah,
100%.
That's one of
much of the stuff. Yeah.
That's one of the first things I was talking with somebody.
Well, anyways, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. You needed more of him.
And his special, top secret submarine he stole, which we saw once
for a split second.
For like 1 second, we get to see this thing.
Anyways,
it's just a disappointment. Anyways,
let's get into it.
Let's get into it. All right. So, 1985, Maine, lighthouse keeper Tim Curry is walking around just being a lighthouse keeper as he's wont to do. It's a kind of a stormy out, whatever. He goes down to the rocks and what does he see? Oh shit, there's a crazy looking lady in like a fluorescent suit.
Green scaly suit.
Whatever. And like a trident. I better bring her in. Oh, and I guess I'll grab her trident as well. I'll bring that. And we may as well tote that along as well. So brings her into there during the storm. She is fucking seems like just a crazy person. She's eating fish. Like goldfish straight out of a thing.
Yeah, she throws a trident right through the television.
Yeah.
Wakes up the next morning, first thing she does is grab a fish out and just slurps it down.
He's like, I thought I was going to make us eggs.
That's how Tim Curry talks.
That's what it was.
Just don't eat my dog.
However that was.
And so, yeah, just don't eat my dog. And he's got a dog. It's Aqua Dog. And they're like, but they look at each other and she's like, you're pretty hot for a lighthouse keeper. And he's like, you're pretty hot.
Specified that.
You're pretty hot for a crazy person I found on the rocks. And then they totally smooch and bone, obviously. And they have a baby.
Yeah. And little Arthur. But they don't even name him till he's like, what? It looks like 6 months old or something?
Yeah. Seems like it. They're telling us stories and stuff. Yeah.
Let's name him Arthur.
What about Arthur?
And anyway, things are all going fine for a while.
Storm, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, wham! These dudes bust in the house with laser cannons.
Yeah, and they got suits where they have to have fluid around them because they can't breathe air. And they come in and they're like, "You're under arrest." It was actually
that was good.
It was actually Sly Stallone.
Oh.
He's like, "You're under arrest. I'm Sly Stallone."
And then and then they
a pizza pie, right?
And then Atlanta obviously went without a fight.
Right, because it's Sly Stallone. No, but then she totally kicks their asses. Even at one point, the lighthouse keeper is Tim Curry's throwing her her trident. I was like, well, you seem like you practice this.
Yeah.
I guess it's like the family emergency, kind of everyone needs a plan. They probably saw that commercial and were like, you should have an emergency plan. Like, okay, so first, go run and grab my trident. It's like, okay, step one, trident. Throw it to me and I will destroy everyone around unless they're Atlanteans.
What do you think that this guy thought she was insane? Probably just sitting there always talking about Atlantis. This place underneath.
Well,
the
she
sea.
did have like superpowers, and also we clearly get from flashbacks that someone from Atlantis comes and like trains Aquaman.
Later.
We learn that.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, when he was like a kid, like kind of not that old of a kid.
Yeah, but anyways, this is after Atlanta leaves because she's like, look,
Yeah, she's like,
these
it's too
girls are going to
dangerous.
keep coming
Yeah.
back and they're going to bring their laser guns and they're going to shoot little Arthur right in the chest and I can't have that. So I got to leave you.
Yeah. And so she leaves. She jumps
kicks
in the
that
ocean.
baggage to the curb.
Yeah.
Free woman.
Yeah. And so she heads back to Atlantis. And we'll learn later that she seemed to not grieve too. I mean, she had like another son and stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
she seemed to deal with her situation okay, I guess. I mean, I don't want to say like it was obviously probably a terrible time because she kind of gets executed, but
Yes, that does happen.
Yeah,
she gets executed. So anyways, you flash forward a few years, and as in typical with really most superhero movies, we see our young superhero being bullied by some kids.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man, what's going on? But he's in an aquarium.
Thank God, right?
Yes. Because
What happens if he was in a zoo?
He's fucked.
They just kick the shit out of him. That's it.
yeah. So,
Can he control
anyways,
like alligators or anything like that?
Nope.
he's not Reptile Man.
Yeah, no, he's Aquaman. Get it straight.
Not the reptilian.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, dude. Oh, she was Sloth Man.
Yeah, it's like I can control sloths, but very specifically sloths.
That's it. That's all I got.
Give me 9 minutes and you kids are toast.
So, anyways, these kids are, shoving him around, and all of a sudden, a great white shark, which they seem to have at this aquarium,
Yeah,
which sounds
I
like
know.
the coolest aquarium on planet Earth.
Well, it is because it's in Boston, Massachusetts.
There you go. Yeah,
As I said it right in there. He lives in Maine, so it was obviously a school field trip down to Boston, Massachusetts. You're welcome.
You got a song that goes with it?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
And so then he's all like, get the fuck out of here, controls all of the animals. Or the animals, I guess, he doesn't really control them. The
They
animals
start defending
they're defending him, and so they're all sitting there being like,
Well,
fuck off.
the shark is ramming the glass. He even
Yeah.
cracks the glass of the aquarium.
And
I
he's
don't know
like,
if you've
"Stop."
ever heard about if you're getting a shark attack, you're supposed to punch him in the nose.
Right, but that shark seems to not care.
Yeah, makes
Punching
you wonder,
itself in the
man.
nose, yeah. And so he's like, stop, and then he kind of turns around, and everyone's like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
And then we cut to him.
We cut to a submarine.
Yeah, so basically we cut forwards past the events of the last movie, which none of us saw, right? I mean, none of us saw the previous movie.
I did not.
He's been in 2 previous DC films. He was in Justice League, and he was in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Okay.
This comes after obviously Justice League, where Steppenwolf has done some bullshit or some shit. I don't know. They mention it.
The band.
Yeah, the band Steppenwolf is the bad guy from. As far as I understand, I mean, I'm just reading it. So yes, the band Steppenwolf invaded Earth or something, and they stopped him.
I'd watch that movie.
Anyway, so now he's actually a known superhero. So that's something you got to understand as you go into this, because there's a submarine. Thank God, right?
Yeah, dude. This is all right. So this is when you can start getting excited.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a Russian naval nuclear submarine. It is getting attacked by some pirates, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhat hilarious, but also great.
They fly up in this little submersible.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty advanced, but
I wouldn't
anyway.
even say it's a submarine. I think it's a submarine.
Yeah, because it looked like it was activating all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it was launched from anything. He doesn't have like
Yeah.
a bigger submarine or something.
It's really high tech, though. But so anyways, they get into the sub, and they're all looking like stormtroopers for
Right.
some reason. I don't know why.
Because they're bad guys.
So they got to look like that.
Yeah.
Dude, they are just lighting people up. There was like a scene where it just showed the gun firing close up for like 10 minutes straight.
Yeah. And so anyways, they're crushing all these Russian sailors. They're putting them into a bunch of them lock themselves in like the engine room.
Torpedo room. Because
room.
there's no accidents that ever happen in torpedo room.
That's true. You never get crushed at all.
No.
Don't worry about it. And they had a wrench probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
They did it. There was a pipe wrench. Wasn't a traditional wrench.
Yeah, so they're gonna gain money somehow from this, or I guess it's actually for a different use. They're gonna take the purpose is to capture the submarine and use it for something else. So like, oh, we'll get in there and we'll get rid of these people or whatever. All of a sudden, they hear something outside.
But
and you first, of course, given what we watched last, everyone's like, it's the Meg, duh, right?
Yeah.
But is it the Meg?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought it was Aquaman though.
Well, Aquaman calls off the Meg.
Oh, I see. Okay, there we go.
Dude, let me handle this.
Stop.
Yeah, there's people in there I have to save. But anyways, they're the people who take over the sub, it's Manta.
Right.
And his crew.
And his dad.
His dad's there with him. Yeah. Because why not?
Yeah, certainly.
And he's like, oh, son, you're so good. We took over this sub, and now we're badass. Here you go. Here's a knife from your grandfather from World War II. It was a frogman.
It will never have any significance to the rest of this film.
That's right.
Yeah. It never comes back.
He uses it.
I think at the
and he asks Aquaman if this refreshes his memory, and he busts it out.
Oh, sure, yeah, I guess, but it wasn't like something where he was like.
See, I saw just the hilt. I was kind of distracted at that point, and I saw just the hilt, and then Aquaman breaks a sword, and like, did he just break the damn Manta thing that we saw literally like a minute ago? And there's like a really dramatic scene about father and son passing down this family heirloom.
Just snaps it in half.
Snaps it in half. It was a different sword.
Great.
They just love swords.
Yeah, it was a different sword. Yeah, he does. He has his own little sword that comes out of his suit or whatever.
Yeah.
And so anyways, Aquaman comes in and he's basically obviously a superhero. Like,
oh, he's just kicking the shit. He rips the closure to the submarine right off.
And he brings the submarine all the way to the surface.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that.
Which is weird a little bit too. Like, did he punch holes in the ballast or something? I'm not even sure how did he necessarily get it to rise? Because wouldn't it? I guess it was steadied. Yeah. It was he propelled it up and then it was balanced to stay up there or whatever. I don't know.
Well, that'd been funny. He puts it back up and just goes right back.
It goes right back down. But no, I guess that's not how it works. Yeah. Anyways, he like is impenetrable bullets, so he's just like fuck off, knocks them away. Punches a bunch of people in the face, kills a bunch of people, frees the Russians in the torpedo room. Most of them get out. He's like, get out of here. And one kind of gets hurt at the end because Manta's like, I'm not going to let you do this. And
where was he at when all this was going on?
I'm not really totally sure. He was
but then he just shows back up.
And they kind of get him in the torpedo room. They have a confrontation. And Manta's dad comes down, is like, hey, don't mess with my son. I got this big old gun. And then he shoots like a big old gun. Dude,
it's totally Call of Duty noob tube. It's a grenade launcher right underneath the gun. Hits Aquaman in the chest.
Right.
That's the only thing that seems to stun him.
Right, stuns him, but doesn't really do much else to him because he gets up and basically punches a bunch of shit, and then like a torpedo falls on top of Daddy-O or whatever, like an air tank or some shit. And they're like, and then he like punches a hole in the wall, or a hole explodes or something. There's an explosion.
Aquaman goes to leave. He says, "You created this mess, and now you have to get out of it."
Yeah,
and then
shit out of luck.
The father is like, "Suck a dick, Aquaman!" And he shoots his grenade, and Aquaman dodges it in slow motion, and it blows up blows up the side of the submarine.
Just so excited.
Water starts gushing in.
Yeah, and he's like,
and then it gets even worse because now they're sinking, and he's pinned underneath the torpedo.
Yeah,
he's Manta can't lift it,
and Aquaman just like kind of shrugs his shoulders, like, "Well, that's too bad.
Peace." And
then the dad, to get Manta to get out of there, holds a grenade in his hand. It's like, "Get out of here, son!" And the son's like, "I'm not gonna leave you." It's like, "Well, then we're gonna die together." And the man just like,
okay.
"Oh, actually, you know what? I have an appointment actually right now," and heads out the other way and just gets out of the submarine in time. He gets off in his super special little submersible submarine, and Aquaman swims all of the survivors to shore and then dives out of the ocean to greet his Daddy-O, who is every morning waiting for the return of his wife. She's not showing up, dude. Like,
he's been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Walks out to the end of this dock every single morning.
Not happening.
But what do? They go to the bar. Time to party.
Time to have breakfast. And by breakfast, they mean beers. And he's a total celeb. And they watch something on the TV as well about how, like, Atlantis is like, whatever, something's happening, some bullshit or whatever. And then some bikers come up and are like, "Aren't you Aquaman?
No,
aren't you Aquaman? Aren't you like
that fish boy from the TV?
Fish boy?"
And they're gonna fight him.
And then he gets up and he's like 5,000 feet tall, and he's like, "It's more like Aquaman, if you know what I mean." And they're like, "Oh shit, we actually just wanted a photograph." And then there's a whole montage of them getting like selfies.
But all right, so the biker dude pulls out this bright pink phone. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that was a joke.
Yeah.
That was a joke, though.
It was so weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like how I sometimes say people pull out their dick. That's a joke.
Oh, pull out a pink phone?
Right.
Oh, gotcha. Now I get it.
Yeah. That's actually what I'm mostly referring to, people just pulling out pink phones.
Oh.
As I refer to their penis.
Gotcha.
Anyways, they head out after this. hilarious affair. They head outside. His dad is like sloshed. It's mid-morning or something. And a woman comes out of the ocean.
Seems to be a pretty normal situation.
Yeah, her name is Mara, and she comes up and is basically like, oh, hey, remember all this backstory that no one who didn't watch the previous movie would know about? You need to come back to Atlantis and claim your crown. And Aquaman's like, I told you in that last movie that no one watched that I wasn't going to do that.
And then he drives away.
And it's like, oh, I didn't get any of that.
Oh, I know.
I didn't understand that. Okay.
Yep. So anyway, they're driving, but basically now she did warn him that his half-brother is going to assume the crown.
Yeah, Orm.
King Orm.
But Volko, his advisor, is actually sympathetic.
Called him like an advisor or something?
Advisor, yeah. He's he's actually on Aquaman's side.
He is.
So,
but anyway, he's driving back, and all of a sudden this giant tsunami starts like closing in on the coast.
More than like a tsunami. It was
it's
nuts.
Crazy.
It's huge. It destroys everything. Aquaman is like a little concerned because his dad is like a mortal human being and is in this truck that
he's a surface dweller.
Right. And so he like swims a bunch, but Mara kind of helps out and creates a little bubble, and he's able to rescue his dad.
And she like sucks the water from his lungs with her hand somehow. Magic.
Yeah, that's her magic or whatever. And so
this is really enough just to convince him that, all right, I guess I'm going to go to Atlantis now.
Right, yeah.
And he hops with Mira into a fishmobile.
Right.
And they cruise along.
You would call this a submersible, right?
I would. It's kind of like the car of the Atlantean world.
Yeah. Isn't a car kind of submersible? Because it is dependent on going and getting, well, I guess also a submarine has to get
basically
filled up with gas
a duck
sometimes.
boat.
Good call. It's a duck boat. So anyways, they get in there. Aquaman pulls out his dick. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I thought we were in a submarine. He's like, well, we don't really have the concept of a submarine because everything's submarine. He's like, oh, that's true. That's a good point. And zips it back up.
And also, she's the captain of this.
That's true. And she's driving. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then she unzipped her pants and pulled out her figurative dick.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so anyways, they head on to Atlantis. They're basically on a road, and they're like, why do you have roads? And she's like, why not? And then he's like, why do you have to go over a bridge and into this tunnel? Why don't you just go over the wall? And she's like, there's hydro cannons, and they definitely won't play a role in a scene that's coming up soon. And he's like, oh, okay. But anyways, I got diplomatic immunity, and they head past the border, and they're like, wink, wink, Donald Trump, am I right?
Yeah, that's what they did.
More or less.
And they head to a very top secret location, which is just a shipwreck.
It's just a shipwreck.
And they meet...
Actually, one of the things I was thinking when they were showing some flashbacks of him getting taught by what's his name? Volko?
Yeah.
When they would go, he's like discovering his powers and kind of like swimming around some shipwrecks. I'm like, that would be really fucking cool.
Yeah.
As you just swim around the ocean, you're like, oh, look at that. Oh, gold. Yeah. Like, it's just a gold and shit. You're like, this is great. I love my powers. But unfortunately, neither of us have such powers.
That'll let you know about. Okay. So anyways, he meets up with them, and now Volko and Mira are really trying to convince Aquaman that he needs to overthrow Orm, because Orm has this plan to what would you say? Combine all the kingdoms of the ocean.
Right, yes.
And he wants to be what's called the Ocean Master.
Ooh, it's a very clever name.
Yes, it is. And he needs he needs kind of like permission from the king of each realm. He needs a majority.
I mean, it's more like it's like the House of Representatives rather than the Senate, really. Like he just basically needs like a majority of the kingdoms to be like, yes.
And he's Ocean Master.
Right. And I think, do we already see the scene where he meets up with the first set?
Well, let's talk about it because it's important.
Should we talk about it now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So basically he meets up with Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, King Nearest. With flowing red locks.
Of whatever place Mara's from, one of those two kingdoms. So it's Atlantis and then Mara's kingdom. And they meet up, and he's like, I need your support for this upcoming thing because it's going to happen. Like, they're polluting our waters. They're fucking assholes. Like, we need to kill all these surface dwellers.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck them, right? And
Nearest says, no, I'm not going to do that.
He's like, no way. Get out of here. Like, whatever. All of a sudden, and they're meeting in kind of a special place that used to be where all the kingdoms ruled together, but now they're separate. They don't rule there anymore. And all of a sudden, a submarine comes, and immediately I'm like, fucking false flag. Like, that's the same submarine we just saw. Like, whatever.
But how, man? The hatch has been ripped off. They don't know how to repair it.
That's fine. They're
whatever. Atlanteans.
They were barely able to do. I don't know. Like, I sat there being like, obviously false flag. This is bullshit. Like, whatever.
Yeah. So it's just
typewriting.
Lighting up torpedoes or just shooting them right at the people.
Yeah, and then he goes
like
up.
They would even know.
They almost killed the Dolph Lundgren, but then Patrick Wilson's Orm is able to go and knock them out of the park, and then he's like, "Don't you see? They even discovered us. They really want to kill us." And Dolph Lundgren's like, "You're right."
I fell for
all
it.
It takes.
Yeah, he fell for the false flag, or did he? That's the question, right? That is the question.
No, he totally
So anyways,
did.
Flash sideways to the shipwreck where Volko is there with Mera, and they're like, "Yo, you totes have to get the Excalibur thing, basically Excalibur."
Yeah,
there was this trident that was the old ruler who basically condemned us to living under the ocean, kind of for the better. We became superheroes, but fine, whatever. He had this special trident that only like the true ruler could have. So if you had that trident, you would totes be the true ruler and everything would be fine. So you need to use this thing, this like message that we found to help us find, I know, right? We are going way over, but time-wise.
Yeah, we are.
We're just talking a lot about this because it's Aquaman. It's amazing. So they're like, use this key or whatever, and then all of a sudden, in busts some of the goons by Orm.
Yeah.
And Volko and Mera kind of slip out. I think they haven't been seen, but they slip out. Like, we can't be seen. Mm-hmm. And so Aquaman tries to battle a whole bunch.
Dude, all right. You ever notice this in a lot of movies? People with guns will come in first, and they're trying to subdue this person.
Yeah.
And usually the person can kick their ass.
Right.
And then they bring in somebody with swords. Why?
Honor, respect.
I guess that's true, because it always works.
Yeah, because then the person you're fighting is like, oh, this is an honorable samurai, and I must now adhere to the samurai law.
It's not just some gunslinger.
Right.
All right.
Anyways, so he goes in a big fight. Eventually, he's subdued. He wakes up in chains. And it's basically like jury time with Orm. Orm's like, oh, older brother, how are you? And he's basically like, you suck. I knew you were trying to come after my throne. So fuck you.
Yep. And then it turns into total gladiator situation.
Because Aquaman's like, I challenge you. I challenge you for the throne. It's my throne. I was the firstborn. It's my throne. And he's like, what?
Something that we also see here is sitting on the right and left side of Orm are both Mera and Volko.
Yeah, Volko, his advisor. And then Mera, who's his betrothed.
Say it isn't so.
Saboteur. And so anyways, they're like basically mouth. They may as well be mouthing to him like, shut it. Because he is ready to battle. Yeah. And they're like, you should maybe not battle. But he's like ready to do it. So he challenges them. They're ready to do it. And it goes to the arena.
Well, first we get a little flashback to a little, training sesh with Volko and Aquaman.
Yeah. Well, this is where he learns all about his skills. His skills and scales.
Yeah. He's covered in scales. Nobody will talk to him. Yeah. So he just can fight with a trident on the beach, man. That's all he's got.
So he learns like a special move at one point where he spins his trident real fast. That's one thing that comes back, I guess.
Kind of. Yeah. It wasn't even really like the same move, was it?
I don't know.
It was kind of the hand motions were a little different.
Yeah. And so, we get a bunch of that stuff. But anyways, they end up in the arena.
Dude, one of the funniest things, I laughed out loud in the theater when I saw this, because they have this kind of like a Jumbotron type thing, and it has both competitors up there. Yeah. And so it shows...
Pros and cons.
Yeah, it shows Orm as like the pure blood, or like our king. Arthur is half-blood, and then they each have a list of pros and cons. Orm has like all pros and like no cons. Aquaman has no pros and all cons.
Yeah, all cons.
It's just cracking me up. Just a little stuff like that.
And so anyways, they fight. Aquaman is obviously quite good, and he's doing some things that aren't expected. Like, it seems like it's going to be a slaughter. Even Mera's like, it's an execution. This isn't a fight. This is an execution.
But they said that, and he'd already thrown Orm like down in this molten lava.
Yeah, he was doing pretty well. He was holding his own a little bit.
Yeah, he was.
What the problem was is like, he didn't really know what he was getting into with the battle, because he has his mom's trident, and he's fighting with it. And in the middle of it, Patrick Wilson, Orm, shatters his thing. His trident is stronger.
Yeah.
You know what that means, if you know what I mean.
Ooh.
His trident.
Brom, what's it mean, man?
Oh, his trident.
It's a trident fight. It's a explicit term that people use nowadays.
All right, if you find it on Urban Dictionary, be sure to shout it out.
It's like a sword fight, but it's a trident fight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'll double check real quick on Urban Dictionary.
So anyways, Orm's trident is quite a bit stronger. And so he shatters the thing. It looks like it's time for death. But what happens?
Mira
uses her powers.
Some kind of like
knocks
water
Worm away.
cyclone.
Yep.
Kicks his ass.
And is like, get the fuck in here, into my fishmobile.
And they cruise off into the sunset.
And then he's like, wait, I thought you said in that previous scene that no one could have expected to come back at this moment, that we couldn't get over the wall because of the hydro cannons.
Oh, yeah, because obviously the gates can be shut down. She's like, doesn't matter, we're going to go over.
We got to try. And so they do. They kind of do some fancy moves or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's looking pretty dire because they get to a point where it's like, we're definitely dead. Like, I think their fishmobile gets like hurt or something.
Well, Orm hops in his fishmobile and starts chasing them down.
Yeah.
And then he eventually locks on, shoots his fiance, who's run off with his half-brother.
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's like a soap opera.
And they start spiraling downward towards this molten lava. It seems to be all around Atlantis.
For whatever reason, I'm not really totally sure.
I wasn't sure either, but whatever. There's so much else going on that it was hard to...
There's a guy named Volko.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one even talks about it. It's like, your name's Volko?
Really? Why do you have a man bun?
Yeah.
Tim Curry is a lighthouse keeper.
What?
So right at the last second, of course, they jump out of the fishmobile and nobody can see them because they've gone over this cliff. But then they swim up to a whale.
Yeah, and Aquaman's like, I'm going to do a little Pinocchio no. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he talks to the whale and she's like, I didn't even know you could do that.
Mm-hmm. And they hop in its mouth.
Yep. And then they kind of like, he like tells the whale, like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then they go and literally take a whale from wherever Atlantis, and I guess it's somewhere in the Atlantic.
Oh, my word.
We're really close to the end.
Maybe halfway. Oh, man.
Ouch. And so anyways, they know that they have to go to the Sahara somewhere. Right.
Yeah, she's got an Atlantean GPS.
Yeah, she knows kind of where it is. It's supposed to be like one of the Lost Kingdoms or whatever. The Deserters, aka the Deserters.
Oh.
And so they go to the they catch a plane into Western Sahara. I assume somewhere like Mali or something like that. I don't know.
No idea. But anyway, she just jumps out in the middle of it without a parachute.
Yeah, do you know who the pilot was of that plane?
It wasn't Dolph Lundgren.
It was a star of Saw, and he actually like wrote and directed a lot of them.
Wait. Like the guy from Princess Bride?
No. The other guy who was in the room with him.
Oh.
Because he's good friends with James Wan, obviously.
Scandalous.
Yeah. And so they jump out. They're heading into the desert. I actually did enjoy their scene in the desert where she's like, the surface sucks. And he's like, we're in the middle of the worst part of it. Like, you cannot judge it from the middle of the Sahara. Get out of here.
Yeah. She's like, well, you can't judge Atlantis then. He's like,
yeah, you're right. God damn it.
Why?
And then she's like, it should be somewhere around here. And he kind of like jumps or whatever and falls into like a pit where the deserters, aka the deserters, lived in the past, where basically there was the betrayal of this king or whatever, or the failure of the king. And so they have this little thing, and they're like, oh shit, we better like learn the message from this thing. And they place it onto a place that's basically like, put the thing here, and they put it there, and they're like, oh, it's not doing anything. But then they're like,
would you consider this a dongle for this movie?
This is certainly, well, I think the trident is the MacGuffin.
Okay.
Yeah, the trident, because that's the thing that everyone wants, and it has an unexplained power, right? Like, it's just a better trident, right? But like,
dude,
what makes it better?
Don't say that.
Right. But this is
way more than
this is more like an adventure game thing. It's like kind of an item that you need to then put it on something, and then you sit there and be like, it's not doing anything, and then you're like, squeeze lemon over thing. It's like, it didn't do anything. Tie rope around the thing. Didn't do anything. And then you have like a bag of water and you're like, pour water on the thing. And then it happens. You're like, I'm so smart. I figured out that puzzle.
Yes. But anyway, it is all dried out and it doesn't give them the message at first. But Mira uses her power to get some sweat off of Aquaman's head.
Good joke here too. I liked it too.
Oh, yeah. And then she puts his little droplets in there and he looks at it. He's like, I just could have peed on it.
Yeah. Oh, clever. I could have peed on it. And then it gives the message to them that basically like where they need to go is Sicily.
This is kind of funny also because she just smashes it. He's like, whoa, don't we need to like use that later? She's like, I already memorized it.
I memorized it, didn't you? And he's like, Yeah.
Sure.
Why not?
And if the trident was our MacGuffin, then the message in the bottle that appears in the ground is our tacky trope.
Yes, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a message in the bottle that emerges out of the ground that they have to use as a clue.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it tells them where to go. It's basically just like here. It points to like literally a map of Sicily. It's like, that's not really what they were doing in an adventure game. They do some riddle or something. Be like, where pizza pie is from? Amavio. Huh. And you'd be like, oh, Sicily.
All right. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, Luigi.
We're already way over on this.
I know.
They get there, and Mira's kind of experiencing life on the surface. She's kind of liking it. He gets her some flowers.
Yeah, she eats the flowers.
Yeah, because she sees someone else eating fruit, and she's like, oh, maybe I should eat these.
I did want to quickly mention that while this is all happening, Orm is basically going around assassinating and pressuring different kingdoms into joining his cause.
He is. And also...
Oh, yeah, we do find out also that Mira's father wasn't tricked by it. He was in it the whole time. He actually thinks they should go to war as well, Dolph Lundgren.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so Orm also wants... Mira kind of wants her back, but he basically wants her and Aquaman killed.
Right.
But Dolph Lundgren says, no, that's my daughter.
That's my daughter.
Which I don't even think we mentioned earlier. But Mira is Dolph Lundgren's daughter.
Right.
And he wants her back safe. But Orm can sidestep this whole thing if he talks to Manta.
That's right. Yeah.
And he gives him this advanced Atlantean technology.
That's where they reveal it was actually a false flag. I just feel like in this political climate, I don't love that they're like kind of supporting the idea of the false flag operations and stuff like that. Kind of plays into conspiracy theories. But anyways, Orm was orchestrating a false flag in this movie. Fine.
Yes.
And he set up the whole submarine thing. He had paid Manta to get that submarine so they could do the attack, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he delivers the money as like, basically, you'll get more where that comes from, baby, if you kill Aquaman / maybe my betrothed.
And Manta just keeps saying, I don't want the money. But we never saw him just kick the money in the ocean, did we?
Well, it's good money. You just take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they give him a bunch of weapons, like new age weapons. And we also see him. He's kind of like a super genius because he's like dismantling this Atlantean technology
so
and making it his own.
Yeah, they give him like the most advanced weapons planet Earth has ever seen. And next scene, he's just ripping it apart.
Yeah. There were some scenes where I feel like he wouldn't have totally been able to understand the technology. Like he would have totally kind of fucked up what it did, probably.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're way behind.
We are. So anyway, they're in Sicily and they need to go to the next clue.
Yeah. So they get up to this thing and they're like, she's basically like, I don't know what's happening and you're a big old Dumbo. So you definitely can't figure it out. And he looks around and goes, actually, from the clue, they were talking about where the king looks. Guess what? None of these people around here are kings except for that one. She's like, how do you know history? He's like, I was the son of a lighthouse keeper. Ever heard of it?
Duh.
To be a lighthouse keeper, you have to have a PhD in history. Everyone knows that. And then he goes up and says, this was a historian, for someone like a, whatever, king, historian, king.
Like, what did you even just say?
And then places the bottle in the guy's hand, which is also perfectly shaped for the bottle or whatever. Yeah. And then looks through it and is like, there. And she's like, oh, shit. Because she's realized something and will eventually realize something. Because at that moment, they also get attacked.
Yeah, Manta and the boys roll up.
Right. They're all like, we're going to kill you. And they have a crazy fight all through Sicily. It's really long. Like, super really long. They also fought forever.
Yeah, Manta has now changed his name to Black Manta. Right. Because he spray painted his suit black.
Right. And he's got these, like, crazy laser beams of his eyes.
They look like, at this thought, when you said mantis earlier, he looks like a praying mantis.
I think that's why I did it.
Yeah. I mean, his head looks like a praying mantis.
Yeah. And then he's got like a sword. He's got his knife. He's got his like laser beam eyes. He's like fighting Aquaman.
Jetpack.
He actually is hurting Aquaman because of the laser beam stuff, which is like Atlantean. Oh, and the Atlantean steel and all that. So like it has stuff that can actually hurt Aquaman. And she's kind of still fucking up people.
Yeah.
She's using her powers.
With the bodyguards kind of.
And so in the end, he's able to kind of dispose of Manta. Apparently there was, did anyone stay for the after credit sequence?
No.
Oh, so they gave a little explanation for how that he survived and he's going to be a bigger role in the next thing. Obviously he survived. We didn't even see him die. He just
fell off a cliff.
Yeah, it's fine. He had Atlantean armor or some shit, whatever. Yeah. So, but like anyways, he rises. He's going to be like the next big villain or one of the big next villains.
Good.
I think they underutilized his special submarine skills. And so anyways, they're like, oh, he wakes up on a fishing boat. She's like, here we go, we're on our way. He's like, on our way, what do you mean? He's like, well, that's where we're going. We have to go to the trench. That where your mom died.
No.
Yeah.
Not the trench.
Yeah, where there's monsters. Basically, the whole idea is like Atlantis fell to the bottom. Some people, some of the Atlanteans became like regular human beings that could breathe underwater. Other ones became like fish people. And then some of them became monsters.
Some became monsters. Some became crab people.
Crab people.
Also looked like monsters.
Yeah.
But
they kind of, they go to their more base instincts or whatever. So anyways, they get out there and all of a sudden they're like,
is that your more base instinct?
I guess
I'm going to be a crab.
I'm one with a crab.
I like to pinch stuff.
And so, and so then they get out there and all of a sudden there's all these like animals around, and just like Jurassic Park.
Animals?
Oh yeah, well.
These are not animals.
They're Atlanteans, I guess.
These are monsters.
Yeah, they're monster Atlanteans. They used to be people, I guess.
Yeah, they're the trench.
They're the trench people. And they start crowding onto the boat. And they're like, there's too many of them. We're not going to survive. But he's like, everyone knows that monsters. Have you seen Jurassic Park? Everyone knows, or the Meg. Everyone knows monsters are like light or whatever, some shit. They like aren't concerned about it. And so.
No, they don't like it.
Right. And so they pull out these like flares. He packs a whole bunch with them. And off they scoot into the water, and they're all like, oh shit, all these monsters are like, oh, light.
I mean, millions and millions of these things.
And they zoom all about, and eventually they're able to find kind of an opening into a spot.
They go through the trench like it was nothing, really.
Really nothing. And then they end up into this area where all of a sudden there's like sea monsters and shit. Like, what the fuck? And then a woman comes and saves Mira.
Yeah.
There's dinosaurs. I think they say it's the center of the earth, don't they? Or something like that?
Yeah, they're at the center of the earth.
It's almost like some movie I know.
Oh, yeah. Apollo 13.
Perfect. It's just like Apollo 13. And so they end up in this place with dinosaurs living on an island.
On the moon.
On the moon, of course, Apollo 13. And Aquaman's mom's there.
Wait, wasn't she sacrificed to the trench?
She was, but she survived.
They said that way too many times where you knew that it was going to be. And it's Nicole Kidman.
It's Kid Coleman. Sorry. Kid New Coleman. Come on.
Can't kill Kid Coleman.
And so, yeah, she was obviously going to be alive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so
she's
anyway,
all
she's
decked
like,
out in like badass dinosaur bone armor.
Setting up a prequel.
She's got that huge pincer crab arm, too.
Couldn't you imagine?
Did she kill one of the crab people? Because that's rude.
I feel like they're setting up a sequel where we see her survive on this island.
Oh, dude, like a castaway situation.
Yeah.
Because she's been down there for 20 years and she can't leave. She can't go through this vortex portal because she does not have the ability to get the trident of the king.
You need the trident. She's went there a couple times to try to get it and she just hasn't been able to. And he's like, I got to. I'm the rightful king. And she's like, don't do it. Aren't you scared? And he's like, yeah, I am.
Oh, he's human after all.
I'm half human.
Half blood.
All right. And then he heads in there and guess what? There is a monster. And it's like pounding the shit out of him. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he's like, stop, please. And she's like, wait, what? You can hear me?
You say she? Just assume a woman's a monster?
Well, it had a woman's voice.
I mean, the monster's a woman.
It had a woman's voice, didn't it? Was I wrong? It was funny if every showing of Aquaman had a different voice for the monster. It's like, no, mine was fucking Morgan Freeman. It's like, what? Mine was a child's voice. It was creepy as shit. I'm like, oh, wow.
Mine was Haley Joel Osment.
Name was Karazin, and it had a woman's voice. It was probably someone. Karazin. Oh, it was Julie Andrews.
There we go, Julie Andrews.
Wow.
So anyways, she's like, whoa, I've never encountered one of the people trying to get the trident who could actually speak to me. He's had a special talent. He's talked to whales. He talks to animals, all that shit.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, wow. Yeah, no, try your hand. See if you can't get that trident.
And he does it pretty easily.
It's not hard. Apparently there was supposed to be a sequence where he battles the zombie king.
Seriously?
But they cut it, yeah.
I would have loved that.
Yeah. So anyways,
dude, there's so much else going on in this movie. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, 3 hours, 4 hours. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, dude.
Same thing with this podcast. Just keep going. Yeah. Forget that time we put on how long ago? Hours ago? Yeah. Who knows? Who's to know how long we've been talking about this film?
Yeah. It's been a while. So anyways.
Yeah.
I don't even know where he gets these armor from, but he shows back up and now he's wearing these gold fish scales.
Yeah, he's got his traditional Aquaman suit.
Yeah.
And at this point, Orm has gathered all his troops. He's decided time to
fight the crab
people. It's the final people, basically the final boss for him. Fight the crab people, conquer the crab people, and then it's time to kill everyone on Earth. And they start to do the battle, and all of a sudden, like out of the ocean comes
the Balrog.
It's Julie
Aquaman
Andrews
with his Kraken.
Comes Julie
Andrews. And Julie Andrews, the Kraken, is just crushing people. It's great. Aquaman's coming around. He's crushing people. It's great. They rise to the surface on some crazy looking submarines. I didn't even realize they were just such giant submarines. Huge submarines. Rising to the surface, battling. Everyone's battling. Everyone's having fun. We're having fun. Everyone in the audience is cheering. I was high-fiving people.
Yeah.
People were like dying. They had heart attacks from how excited they were, and people didn't even care. They were like, they died happy, so we didn't care about them dying in the theater.
Right.
We're like, this is the way to go. Babies were being born. We're like, thank God this is the first thing they're seeing in their life, and we held them up like Lion King.
Yeah.
See the life that is the circle of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they got to the top, and Orm and Aquaman get to fight, and he's got this like special trident, and you know what's gonna happen next.
Oh yeah,
he like spins that trident like crazy. He's like spinning a whole bunch.
He does the move Man Bun showed him earlier. Yeah.
He's finally like mastered it. He spins it a whole bunch, shatters Orm's trident. This movie's so fucking stupid. Anyways, he becomes the rightful king.
Yeah. Piece of shit.
Anyways, okay. I'm not sure why this is so funny. Anyways, he's Aquaman.
The movie's so insane.
He's like spinning his shit. He's Aquaman, and he's also King Arthur, king of the Atlanteans. And Orm is basically begging to die. He's like, it's time to execute me. And then all of a sudden, Nicole Kidman walks out of the water, and she's like, stop. I got my both sons. These are both my boys. Like, I want you to be happy. And he's like, what? Mom? You're back? He's like, yeah. She's like, I'm back. And then King Arthur's like, I'm King Arthur, but you can call me Aquaman.
At this point, I have expected Orm to stab Nicole Kidman or something, kill her right there. Yeah, I
mean that would
like, pretty. Whoa,
that would have been intense.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he's now king of the Atlanteans. He stopped the attack. He heads back to the surface to his dad, brings his mom, and is like, "You old people, go to town, have fun. Crazy kids, you have some fun. Here's a bottle of wine. I'll leave you to it."
That's the end of the movie. Well, I guess
that's the end of the show.
Mantis shows back up.
Sure. I didn't say for that. Yeah. I was out of there.
I was like, as soon as credits started, I was like, up, out. Mm-hmm. I looked, everybody is just like sitting, waiting.
Yeah, of course. You got to see it. Apparently it was the first DC comic to have an after credit scene.
Really?
Yeah. First DC movie. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that took a little longer.
You're not seeing it, but Kyle's actually crying from how beautiful our recap was.
Oh my god!
They just crammed so much into this movie.
Yeah,
I was waiting the whole time for Willem Dafoe to like betray Aquaman and turn out to be a bad dude.
No, not this time.
He did another couple movies down the road, man.
Yeah
maybe. Dolph came back into he turned it around because he was like the first one to be like, he's the rightful king, we got to recognize him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so he was, even though he's kind of a bad guy, he turned back into a good guy. Anyways,
gosh,
God, this fucking movie. Okay, so scores. I think Zach said he was giving it a 0 because he didn't watch it.
Yeah,
and he had no interest in watching it.
Right. But yeah, who wants to go first? Brom, do you want to do it?
I'll do it.
You can do it?
I'll do it. All right. So to discuss this movie, I want to look back at the other movies we've reviewed from 2018. And I vividly remember you guys sharing an early review. I think it was Jamie for Hunter Killer that described that movie as having like a breathless, exhausting pace. And we kind of dredged that conversation back up last week when we discussed The Meg. And I asked if you kind of felt that Hollywood thinks we have too short of an attention span anymore to appreciate like good character development and detail. Because Aquaman really shot out of a cannon, and within 10 minutes, the origin story was wrapped up. We burst into the present day where he was ramming into a sub. Next, he was in a tsunami, and then he was, on his trip to Atlantis. Then we have this
Africa, Sicily.
Yeah, he's doing an Indiana Jones, desert tomb raid, And then we're in the Italian seaside village fighting a goofy villain and robbing a boat, getting attacked by deep-sea fish monsters, journeying to the bottom of the ocean and into the center of the earth with dinosaurs and megalodons. We reunite with our mom, Nicole Kidman. Then he travels through that water veil into an ancient sea monster's lair where we have a battle of wits, and he claims the trident of Atlantis. We finally burst through the seafloor, and he's riding Julie Andrews into the middle of a giant battle of crustaceans.
Obviously.
And ultimately that battle with the main bad guy at the very end. And I don't feel the movie was too long. It actually went by pretty quick for me, but there just wasn't any suspense, and it didn't feel like the stakes were very high because, you know, Aquaman and us as the viewers were just churning through scene after scene. What I liked about it, I liked the prehistoric world. I liked it. I thought that there was room for a whole Aquaman movie there. And you kind of alluded to it with a prequel, whether you were joking or not, but there was so much material there. It was a really neat world with all these dinosaurs.
You would have almost thought that would have been a full movie in itself, right?
Absolutely.
Getting the trident would have been one of the movies where you have to kind of be in this prehistoric thing, and then
and that's like the character building where he's training still.
Et cetera.
He has to train and prepare himself to square off against that ancient Kraken and claim the legendary weapon. Instead, that entire scene from the arrival there to being reunited with his mom and fighting the sea monster and claiming the trident is less than 5 minutes total. And
is that really?
Yes. And then the following scene with the massive battle of these unique eye-catching creatures, that's wrapped up in about 5 minutes as well. And
oh my God.
The closest thing I can compare Aquaman to, honestly, are like the new Hobbit movies, which kind of lacked the depth and charm, as opposed to the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, which are among the greatest action movies of all time. Aquaman was flashy, and at times it was, there were some badass moments, and the world building was really intriguing, but there just wasn't any tension there. And here we go. While we journeyed with Aquaman to the deepest depths of the sea, this film was remarkably shallow. I'm giving it a 6.
Oh, man.
And I'll go next. I've never seen a DC film. I've heard they're very drab.
Not even the Dark Knight stuff?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
All right.
Those I saw all those, but I haven't seen anything basically from the Zack Snyder onwards.
Gotcha.
Because I think he's trash. But that's a whole other story, having to do with Sucker Punch, the movie, which offended me so much that I never watched another Zack Snyder film.
I saw that in theaters. Wow.
That is too bad. And so I hadn't really watched too much of this. There had been times that I kind of wanted to see things like Suicide Squad and stuff for Bad Movie, for badmovietwins.com, but we just haven't got around to it because these franchises are a little hard to do without kind of lining up. So it was funny to do this one kind of out of order. It got pretty good reviews, so it wasn't going to be for Bad Movie. It was hard to imagine us really picking up the previous ones, so I did have to enter a little bit out of nowhere, not really knowing anything, but it felt brighter, or at least not the same as some of the criticisms that have come across for some of these other ones, where it's just like, it's just dark all the time, kind of weighing on you. This had fun stuff. It had fun things that were being said. It was brighter. There was the big action scenes were actually kind of fun to look at, but it was so fucking ridiculous. It reminded me of when I saw Avengers, which was for me also, I think, the last Marvel one I saw in theaters, where all these aliens are pouring out of a portal in space-time into like the city. And me being a big fantasy sci-fi nerd when I was a kid, just remembering back, like having a flashback to me reading and loving those kind of things and having people being like, what a nerd, get out of here. And I wanted to just stand up and be like, as everyone was like so happy as this was happening, I'm being like, everyone's cool with this? This is good? Like, this is okay. Everyone's now okay with the nerdiest, weirdest, most sci-fi, most fantasy, most everything ever. And that's going to be like the movies that everyone watches now.
Dude, this was next level sci-fi insanity.
It even got up to that, the next level. So it's still like, it's fun in that way, but it's very, very one-dimensional. And as we were kind of got to the point where we were breaking down laughing, it's just so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous.
It is,
so much stuff kind of falls off. Like, as you even recap it, there were things where it's like, did that ever come back? No, never came back. Oh, okay. I guess it just didn't matter. Like, it almost seems like they had so many hanging loose ends because they were just like, we have all this stuff. Like, oh, we have to wrap up that one thing. It's like, we don't have time. Sorry. That's it. it stays. That's it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So I was actually going to go the exact same thing. I was going to give it a 6. I felt like it's right there in the middle. It's good, but it's not like crazy good or anything like that. I feel like 6.5 maybe. I don't know, 6.5. I'm going to do 6.5.
6.5.
I'm going to do 6.5.
All right. Brom, it's funny because you mentioned the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, and that is really what I thought at the end of the movie with the big battle. Mm-hmm. He even had the crab people with trebuchet type things.
Voiced by John Rhys Davies, who played Gimli.
Oh, really? I'm a little surprised that no one's mentioning Pirates of the Caribbean, because that actually seems like what would be most
that's true too.
Similar in some of these ways. Some of those ending battles where you have like crab people kind of fighting humans.
Oh, that is true. But these were, all right, so those are like more humans than they are crabs. These were more crabs than they are humans.
Good point.
That's the difference,
It's a solid point.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, this movie was just, I mean, wham, bam, the whole time. I mean, you had no time to even really develop a character.
I had very little time to masturbate in that theater.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah. I basically couldn't. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Right?
Fight scenes were really good. Like we talked about, I really wish we had more of Manta and Black Manta as he evolved into this new supervillain. And I hope he's in the next ones.
I do also, yeah. I just underutilized character.
Right. And I guess, I mean, he was right there in the beginning. He had a pretty big opening scene.
Yeah.
And then just gets the shit kicked out of him by Aquaman. Or by Mira. It's kind of...
You'd even think if they were going to cut something out of the film, you'd almost cut his entire stuff out. Like if they really wanted to make a 1 hour, 30-minute film, they'd just be like, cut all the Manta stuff. Done.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even have to tease us with it. But, dude, there was so much. And like when I was sitting here watching this movie, I was like, what am I watching? And then to your point, people love this stuff, man.
Yeah,
they love it. They eat it up.
I don't even know how. I don't know how. Like, if this was a book and this was happening in a book, I'd be like, this book is complete shit. What's happening here? Like,
right.
Can you imagine how long that book would be?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, forever.
Well, they could probably condense it down in like 60 pages, how long these scenes took.
Somebody's probably like screaming at their computer. It's a comic book series, guys. Like, it is a book.
I don't care. I don't care about that.
Yeah,
I'm going to say there's a couple things I even wanted to say about that kind of regard. Like, he shouldn't be called, okay, this is going to get everyone angry. He shouldn't be called Aquaman. It's a lame-ass fucking stupid name. He's King Arthur of Atlantis. That's awesome. Like, King Arthur of Atlantis. You are King Arthur. You go to someone, when are you meeting the President of the United States, right? Like, he comes up to the President of the United States, like, hey, I saved you. The President of the United States is like, hey, thanks, King Arthur of Atlantis. And he's like, oh, that was really impressive coming out of the President of the United States' mouth, right? Like, that he just called me that. Actually, could you call me Aquaman? Like, what? No.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, you're King Arthur of Atlantis.
You saved me. What's your name? Aquaman.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, but you could also call, I'm also King Arthur of Atlantis. Oh, yeah, no, that's great. That's awesome. That's much better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I already would lose everyone who was a comic book fan at that point, being like, Aquaman, dumb, right?
Yeah. You couldn't write.
No. So, that's it. So, you can all hate me. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
all right. Visually, this movie was very good. They had a lot of CGI and stuff with the underwater stuff that I thought was really impressive. Man, but at the same time, I was sitting there wondering, what was I watching? It's like a 5.5.
I feel like, and I feel like your score could also factor in the fact that, I mean, definitely submarines are a big part of this. Yeah. I feel like the next one has a much bigger opportunity for us.
Probably does with Manta.
With Manta, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you actually have to have you have someone who is required to use
the submarine.
The submarines. It would be too bad if he's like, I don't even need a submarine anymore. I got a super suit. Where it's like, oh, fuck this. Like, God damn it. Why do the Atlantis even use fish cars?
I don't know. They seem to go faster. Remember, there was one time where he was getting chased by Orm, who was riding that whale.
I guess maybe not the
whale
nobles.
Was going fast.
There was all these weird little quirks. It's like the nobles in Atlanta, they can breathe on land and underwater, but like the other ones can only breathe under. Maybe the other ones couldn't go fast. They need cars.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It seems like a not equal society. I'm not so into it.
Yeah.
So I actually give it a 0.
There you go.
Yeah.
Aquatic Justice, Jamie.
Right, yeah. Aquatic Justice Warrior right over here.
Yeah.
AJW. So we're going to do a little trivia. When Atlanta throws the trident at the TV, it's showing a show called Stingray, 1964.
I was wondering what that was. Because I was sitting there watching.
It's a TV show, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The film borrows elements from the comic Aquaman, the Trident of Atlantis. So in that one, Arthur has to take his place as King of Atlantis, although he is reluctant to do so. Orm wants to go to war with the surface world and allies himself with evil people to make it look like they're as evil as he says. And Arthur gets his trademark orange and green suit that is an ancient Atlantean armor. So yes.
Nice.
That all matches up. Arthur Curry's story shares a few shared elements with King Arthur Pendragon. Both had to find legendary weapons, the Trident and Excalibur, which became their renowned weapons. Had to defeat their evil siblings, Orm and Morgana Le Fay, to save their kingdom, and had wise mentors, Vulko and Merlin. So remember that. Vulko is Merlin.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Merlin had a man bun.
Yes. And then Willem Dafoe and Temuera Morrison, who played his dad, played Aquaman's dad.
Tim Curry?
Yeah, Tim Curry, yeah. So they previously worked together in Speed 2 Cruise Control. And usually I don't use these trivia, but I just love that because Speed 2 Cruise Control is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
It is the third live-action theatrical film featuring Aquaman. That was Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Justice League, and the first full-length feature film, obviously, centered around it. And this is actually, weirdly, Patrick Wilson's second role in the DC Extended Universe films. The first was actually Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. So Aquaman is in that film. Yeah. And he plays the President of the United States in that one.
He's now, also in Watchmen. He's the, which isn't DC, but
the owl guy or whatever.
Owl dude. Owl man.
Oh, good. He's not the blue guy.
But like,
no.
I feel like if we went back and watched Batman v Superman, there's so many like weird subplots we would read into this. Suddenly Orm is like disguising himself as President of the United States.
Yeah.
In that film. And there's no reason why. It's not followed up or anything.
Maybe they'll bring it up later.
That'd be great. Like, when I was president, like what? All right. So Michael K. Williams and Michael Jai White expressed Williams' interest in playing Black Manta.
Okay.
That would have been good. And Jesus Christ, I'm stumbling
over. Kid Nicoleman, yeah, Nicole Kidman, who plays Aquaman's mother, had declined the role actually in Wonder Woman as Queen Hippolyta. Now, you'd think, okay, she declined the other successful DC Universe film or whatever. So why would she pick this one? Well, she apparently was a huge fan of James Wan and a big supporter. Oh,
so when he came knocking, she was like, yes.
Interesting.
So here we go. Okay. Jeff Nichols and Noam Murrow were considered to direct the film. Jason Momoa, Noam Murrow. I don't know who that is. Jason Momoa publicly expressed interest in bringing back Zack Snyder, which I think would have been a mistake because he's terrible.
I agree.
And I think they made the right choice by choosing James Wan. He had a choice. He was actually given the choice between filming this or Flashpoint, which is the Flash film. And he chose this one because he liked the character better of Aquaman. He thought it was more interesting and more of an underdog. So, which of these other actors from other James Wan films would be good in this one? Danny Glover from Saw.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I want him to be like Dolph Lundgren's character, but also Dolph Lundgren still has a character. Maybe they're like twins. Like twin kings.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Well, they had two young twins that were playing Aquaman as a child, so they could just maybe swap in and out when one gets tired.
I think it's a good idea. So he also directed a film called Dead Silence, starring Donnie Wahlberg. Where does he fit in?
Donnie Wahlberg.
He's one of the bikers, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, because you just be watching like, is that Donnie Wahlberg? Yeah, I think it's him.
Yeah. What about Kevin Bacon from Death Sentence?
Oh, Orm.
That's a good one. I like that a lot. I like Orm.
Yeah. Kind of looks like old. Patrick Wilson.
I guess we're going younger Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. But if it was now, Vulko for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Vinny Diesel from Furious 7?
He's got to be Aquaman, right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Can you put hair on him?
Yeah, and he's also just like, you gotta get him on some like lifts or something. Make him look like he's like 5,000 feet tall.
Yeah.
He's got to be like
platform shoes.
Yeah, probably. So ridiculous. I wanted to do one from the Conjuring franchise. So what about Vera Farmiga?
Well, hang on a
Don't
sec.
know who it is.
Hang on. Vin Diesel would be great as like the voice of one of the various monsters.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh,
that would
crab
be good.
person. He's the Crab King.
There we go. I like that. So Vera Farmiga, but you guys probably don't know who that is.
I definitely know the name.
Yeah.
Is she Shameless?
Beautiful lady.
Is it Shameless? Is that the one?
It might be her sister. She has a sister who's also an actress. So if you know a Farmiga, it might actually. Oh no, but you know what? I think it is. I don't know. And then Ed Harris. So he was actually the demon in the Insidious franchise. I don't know if you knew this. He was the demon. He was actually the main antagonist.
Wow.
So it turned out that Ed Harris was actually the one who was possessing the child, and everyone was pretty cool with it in the end. They were like, I mean, it's Ed Harris.
You're cooler now.
Yeah. No, this is great. I mean, you're Ed Harris.
I want Ed Harris to be Julie Andrews. Good call.
I think Ed Harris would be a good lighthouse keeper, obviously.
Oh yeah.
He's like the daddy-o.
But he wouldn't like lay down when the
no, he's like
Atlanteans came in to take Atlanta away.
Also, when she leaves, he's like slaying the ladies. Pronto.
Yeah.
So he meets up with her mom, his mom, and she's like, "Oh, has he been waiting for me?" And Aquaman's like, "Yeah,
sure he has.
Sure."
Don't go to the dock around like 6 a.m.
He's usually not waiting there for you.
Yeah.
All right,
He's
and then
got somebody out there.
Quick Phantom Zone.
Engage the Phantom. Phantom's engaged, sir.
So we've been just racking up these Phantom Zones for this one.
Yeah.
Because Dolph Lundgren's in this one. We've seen him a whole bunch of times. I've used him a whole bunch of times in this. Willem Dafoe, we obviously seen in Life Aquatic. And I had even mentioned in that Phantom Zone that like, once Aquaman's out, we can easily connect back to that. But we also have Nicole Kidman, who was in Batman Forever. And in that film, the Batmobile turns into a submarine for literally, 3 seconds before it's shot by a torpedo. But moments before, Batman shoots himself out like a torpedo into the water and then swims to the...
What a waste.
I know, it's terrible. And then that it features Tommy Lee Jones, which I use all the time because of the best movie that's ever been made.
No Country for Old Men.
Mechanic Resurrection.
Oh, yeah.
That's Phantom Zone.
Alrighty. It's time for Subs Worldwide. It's World Wide. So this movie was, I would consider it, although it's present day, it seems kind of futuristic.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got laser beam guns, which is pretty slick.
And I gotta say, Manta seems pretty comfortable in that futuristic submarine.
Yeah,
as if he's been around it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knows what's up. So I decided to go with a submarine that will be coming out in the near future.
Woo!
Yes, the Russian Husky Class.
Oh, I like that name.
Yeah. And I hope that this also has laser beams on it. Wouldn't that be impressive? It's supposed to enter service in 2027.
Wow.
Originally slated to build in 2020.
What episode will
2023
be on when it launches?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Probably 70 something or something. Probably.
Yeah.
Anyways.
After that long hiatus.
Math. I don't know.
Math is later, actually. So this is a more inexpensive class of nuclear attack submarine that will, or is supposed to, replace the Aquila class.
Oh.
Their first reports this in 2014. It is supposed to utilize composite materials more so than previous generations of subs, which will reduce the overall weight and help quiet it down. And so there's not a lot of info on this because it's not even being constructed yet. But some of the things we do know about it are the missiles it will be able to use, which is the new Zircon hypersonic anti-ship missile.
What?
The 3M22. So,
wait, did you say 3M22?
Yes.
Is that by the company 3M?
No, that'd be funny.
That'd be slanderous. Sorry.
We make command strips and Zircon missiles. So this is a scramjet-powered missile, which there's a lot of stuff that you can look up about scramjets, but basically combustion takes place in a supersonic airflow that is compressed by the missile itself. It's really advanced.
It's pretty advanced.
Yes. So the 3M22 has a fuel capacity of 600 miles, and it can fly at speeds of 6,090 miles per hour. Mach 8. So although it has the fuel of 600 miles, it has a estimated range of 135 to 270 nautical miles at low level, 400 nautical miles at semi-ballistic trajectory, and the longest range reported is 540 nautical miles. Throwing a lot of numbers at you guys. As you know, I am not a rocket scientist, but I am a rocket mathematician. So, at the farthest away that it can hit for the low range, 270 nautical miles translates into 310 miles. If the rocket is traveling at 6,090 miles per hour, how long would it take to get to you and blow your ass up?
Like milliseconds.
How long?
Like seconds.
3 minutes, 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I know. Longer than I wanted it to.
Yeah, it's a little time.
Yeah, you got time.
I think I could
make it to your car.
I could run a mile.
There you go.
A mile away.
All right.
You said 3 minutes? Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Got a mile.
So also, one thing that is kind of insane with this is while the missile is flying, it is covered by a plasma cloud, and that absorbs radio waves and makes this thing invisible to radars. Scary.
That's what she said.
Ooh.
Am I right?
You did not. That's it, man.
Wow. So that's I guess we don't know too much about the exact details. We will when it
of the
gets
Husky
launched.
class.
Yeah, the Husky class. But we got some good ones there. Did you say the size? How big it's supposed to be?
No idea.
No idea. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I like to know what the size is. I like
the specs and the speeds and all that.
Yeah. I like to know, because it'd be a little different. Like, this sounds pretty scary, right? But if you said, oh, it's 12 feet long, I'd be like, it's gonna be a little cramped, and maybe it's not gonna be as effective.
Yeah, maybe not.
Right. But then if you said it's actually 65,000 feet long, I'd be like,
wow,
whoa, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that'd be real good. They're trying to turn that thing.
That's why it
launch it, and you're like, I guess this is where it is.
It's like, the range is pretty small, but it's because it stretches almost entirely across the ocean, so it actually can't move very far.
Yeah. Surfaces you can just walk across.
Right.
All right. We've already taken up a lot of time, but...
How long are we at?
We are at 1 hour, 17 minutes.
Oh, we're perfect. This is great.
Yeah. Super. All right, Brom, what do you got for us tonight?
Tube 3 ready to fire, sir.
Commence the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Give it to me.
All right, so we saw Jason Momoa looking super hot. Greased up abs.
There was a moment, I wanted to mention it, where I could have sworn from the angle it looked like he had a 10-pack. But now then it switched an angle, and then it no longer looked like a 10-pack. It looked like an 8-pack. And I was like, oh, where'd that other pack go? Like, I was confused. And then I thought for a second that, oh, maybe I just mistook his pecs for the extra, as you kind of moved up his abs, that his pecs kind of added and made it look like 10.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't tell. I wanted to get a picture.
Smiling so much. Just talking about it.
No, this has seriously happened. I was like, holy shit, is that 10-pack? And then I was like, oh, I wish I had a picture of it so I could have counted. But now I feel like it was probably his pecs.
If anyone ever achieves the 10-pack, it's going to be Jason.
I think that's probably right. Or The Rock.
Maybe, man. One of those two.
Yeah, he's got like Titan Games or some shit.
Oh, yeah, a new show.
What about some female beefcakes with some hot abs? Some of my top 5 hottest Hollywood abs.
Nice.
Of the ladies. All right.
Thanks for clarifying.
Number 5. This is a little softer set of abs, but very sexy nonetheless. Jessica Alba in Sin City.
Nice. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
I actually know someone who was just telling me that Jessica Alba complimented their baby on a plane. but he didn't even realize it was Jessica Alba until afterwards because he was so busy dealing with his baby.
Yeah. Stars, they're just like us.
No, they're not.
Oh.
That's great, though.
Just kidding.
Just
kidding. We are stars.
Did he kill himself afterwards? Because, I mean, he achieved pretty much all there is to achieve. Getting your baby complimented by Jessica Alba.
Yes.
No one knows what happened to the baby.
Probably got rocking hot abs now.
Probably.
Number 4.
Jessica Alba's got her doing crunches. Come on, baby.
Number 4, Jennifer Lopez. She's still got it, man. You gotta look at some of her fitness photos on like whatever the social medias are nowadays.
Yeah, it's a little known fact. She's actually 93 years old.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
How old was she when she filmed Anaconda?
92.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was a 2018
Also,
film. Was there any subs in that? Can we do?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Little known fact that actually came out last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot longer.
It seems like a really long time ago, but it was just last year.
It does.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Well, you should remember it because it won Best Picture at the Oscars.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always forget. Was it Cuba? Ice Cube in that?
Ice Cube.
Okay.
Yes. It was.
I can't remember if it's Ice Cube or LL Cool J.
No.
Number 3. Get out of here. Number 3. This just comes with the train. When you host The Biggest Loser, Jillian Michaels.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, man. She's, I mean, you have to be, right? Can have somebody like me.
Was she ever in a film?
I don't know.
I feel like that's something that we'd want to incorporate into badmovietwins.com. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm sure that movie would not have been a good film.
It would be horrible.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Number 2, check this out. Do some homework, guys. The 1993 music video, That's the Way Love Goes, Janet Jackson.
Oh, yeah. True. Sure.
She's freaking ripped.
You're pretty excited about that, man.
It's crazy. Look it up. Look it up. But number 1.
If it was guys' abs, I think Michael Jackson would have been number 1 or 2, probably too, right?
I don't think so.
Brother sister tandem, no.
I think he's kind of got a weird looking body.
I don't know. Right, pretty.
I'm a huge MJ fan, but pretty weird looking body. When he throws his shirt, backwards into the wind in that one video.
Yeah, agree to disagree, but okay.
Okay. Number 1.
What's happening?
Number 1, super hottie. Check out her honeymoon photos. Julianne Hough of Dancing with the Stars fame.
Okay, yeah, from Footloose. You're talking about the new Footloose.
Yes.
Yeah, she's great. In that, she was great in Safe Haven, the Nicholas Sparks film. She's got striking eyes and rockin' abs. And so, yes, thumbs up from that for that one.
Completely.
I will say, though, where is Michelle Rodriguez on this list?
I do not have her on the list. She was considered.
Honorable mention.
There's quite a few leading ladies out there with good physiques.
Charlize Theron?
I didn't see anything about her, and no, I'd have to look. But what did you guys catch?
What about Linda Hamilton? Was that her name?
Linda Hamilton.
No, Linda Hamilton.
Glenn Close?
No, who was the person from Terminator? Linda
Hamilton.
Yeah, it's Linda Hamilton. Yeah, doesn't she have like rockin' abs?
Probably.
Yes.
Or at least back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Do you guys catch anything there? Do you notice anything in common with them and Jason Momoa? Completely unintentional, but all 6 of them, first name starts with the letter J.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they all dated Jason Momoa.
They did not.
What?
Well, your name starts with a J.
That's true, and I got rockin' abs. Actually, that's my New Year's resolution this year.
Rockin' abs? Momoa abs?
No, I want 6-pack abs. It's been my New Year's resolution for the last 6 or 7 years. It hasn't happened yet, but this will be the year.
This is it?
Yep. For sure.
Get that drink out of here.
What are you talking about? You talking about my protein shake I have in front of me?
Oh, yeah. Alcoholic protein shake.
All rights reserved. Thanks for listening to Submersion. Find us on SoundCloud and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Can't get enough of us? Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. And if you like what you heard, please go ahead and give us a rating. Little skeetla beep bop beep.
Yeah, little scat.
A shoobity dabbity bee. A booba baba leepa loopa 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 flow. And that is the worst scat that I've ever done, but I didn't want to blow you away, so I want to keep my true scatting skills in my pocket. And
in your pants.
And in my pants. And got my little cat friend with me here tonight, and she has not been going outside at all because it is frigid, and she's a little stir crazy and bored, and she will probably interrupt us.
Oh, Aquacat.
Aquacat. She responded.
Do you know
every
there
time.
was an Aqua Dog?
Say again?
There was an Aqua Dog?
There was an Aqua Dog in the comics.
Great. Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense.
None of this shit makes sense, man.